Let me set a scene for you. It's, say, 7 p.m. on a Sunday. You're on a comfortable sofa. The room is warm. Maybe you have a hot cup of tea in your hand. So technically, you're safe. But you don't feel safe, do you?
No, not at all. You feel that heavy, cold feeling right in the middle of your chest.
That little whisper in the back of your brain, right. The weekend is over. The inbox is waiting. The alarm clock is set.
The classic Sunday scaries.
Exactly. And that is where we are kicking things off today. We're doing a deep dive into this really fascinating 3-part series from the channel Daily English Dive, which is hosted by Sophie and Jack.
And, on the surface, it's a channel for English learners. They speak very clearly. They break down idioms. The pace is really manageable.
Which is great. But, and this is the key, don't let that learner label fool you. What we found in these sources is that by breaking down the language of stress, they actually end up breaking down the psychology of stress.
And they do it in a way that, honestly, is probably more effective than a lot of dense textbooks I've read.
It's like a Trojan horse for therapy. You click on it thinking you're going to learn what an idiom means, and you walk away with a crash course in cognitive behavioral therapy.
And that's exactly why we wanted to do this deep dive. We're not just looking at vocabulary here. We're looking at the actual toolkit they provide for mental survival.
Yeah, we're going to explore why our brain seems so determined to ruin our Sundays, how to stop that anxiety spiral, and a really counterintuitive idea about motivation that, it honestly changed how I look at my entire to-do list.
It's a good one. So let's start there with that feeling. The Sunday scaries.
I love that term. It sounds so harmless, like a cartoon ghost or something, but the physical feeling is just awful. Sophie and Jack, they call it a mental ghost.
That's such a precise description because the threat isn't real, right? It's all anticipatory anxiety. You're not actually in the meeting.
Right, you're not stuck in traffic. You're on the sofa, but your body is reacting as if the threat is right there in the room with you.
And Sophie brings in the evolutionary angle here, the negativity bias.
I've heard this term before, but the way she explains it it made me feel a lot less crazy for stressing out all the time.
Well, it's the software glitch we're all running on. Think about it. Thousands of years ago, if you heard a rustle in the grass, you had to assume it was a lion.
Because if you assumed it was just the wind, and you were wrong.
You were dinner. Exactly. The optimists got eaten.
The pessimists survived and passed on their anxious genes.
So here we are, the descendants of the worriers. The problem is, our brains haven't had a firmware update in about, 10,000 years. So when you think about a 9 a.m. meeting, your amygdala, your brain's danger center, it just lights up.
It thinks a calendar invite is a lion.
It thinks it's saving your life. But, as the source points out, this protection totally backfires in the modern world. You spend Sunday night full of stress, cortisol, you don't sleep.
And then you're weaker. You're less capable of actually handling the Monday meeting you were so worried about.
You're prepaying interest on a debt you might not even owe.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to put it. You suffer twice, once in your head and once for real.
And there's a specific word they use for this mental looping, rumination.
I have to admit, I did not know the origin of this word until I saw this.
The cows.
The cows. It is such a weirdly perfect visual, isn't it?
So vivid. Cows chew cud. They swallow grass, bring it back up, chew it again, swallow it again. It's part of digestion.
Which is exactly what I do with an awkward comment I made at a party. Just chew on it over and over.
But here's the key difference Sophie highlights. The cow eventually digests the grass. When we ruminate, we never digest the problem. We just keep retasting the bitterness.
Jack calls it chewing on bad grass. You're not solving anything, you're just re-experiencing the stress.
So if we're stuck staring at this bad grass, at the mud,
yeah,
how do we stop? Sophie introduces this camera lens metaphor.
And this is so important. This is the difference between toxic positivity and realistic positivity.
Yes, toxic positivity is just delusion. It's saying there is no mud, everything is sunshine.
Which helps absolutely no one.
Exactly. The camera lens approach says, okay, the mud is real. I'm not denying the mud. But the sunset over there is also real. This warm tea is real. Positivity isn't about pretending reality doesn't exist. It's about consciously choosing where you point the lens.
Okay, I get that in theory, but when I'm in a full spiral, I can't just think my way into looking at the sunset. My brain is locked on the lion.
You're right. And they account for that. When your amygdala is hijacked, logic is useless. You can't use your mind to fix your mind in that moment. You have to use your body.
The 5-minute reset? This is the emergency tool.
It is. And every step is physical. Step 1, environment shift. Just stand up, leave the room, open a window, interrupt the pattern.
It's like telling your brain, new room, maybe there's no lion here. And then they talk about box breathing.
A classic. Yogis use it, Navy SEALs use it. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. You're basically sending a signal to your brain that says, hey, we can't be in danger, our breathing is slow.
It's a manual override. But my absolute favorite tool from part 1 was the one happy song rule. Jack says he listens to 80s disco when he's stressed about bills.
It sounds so silly, doesn't it?
It does, but I tried it. And it is very, very hard to feel impending doom when you're listening to Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
It's impossible. And the point isn't that the music pays the bills. It's that it changes your state so you can pay the bills without having a panic attack.
Which leads to their garden concept. Weeds, negative thoughts, they grow automatically. You don't have to do anything.
But flowers, calm, gratitude, you have to actually plant those seeds. You have to be proactive.
Okay, so we survived Sunday. Let's go deeper. Part 2 of their series talks about the quiet night monster.
The bedtime spiral.
Yes, the lights go out, everything's quiet, and your brain decides it's the perfect time to review every mistake you've ever made.
This is where they break down what spiraling really is. It's not just worrying, it's a staircase going down. Jack gives that perfect example.
Oh, it's so relatable. It starts with, what if I made a mistake in that email?
Which leads to, if I made a mistake, my boss thinks I'm lazy.
If she thinks I'm lazy, I'll get fired.
If I get fired, I'll lose my house and be homeless.
And boom, from a typo to homelessness in under a minute. And when you're in that state, they use the idiom, you're just keeping your head above water.
You're not swimming. You're just trying not to drown. So how do you break that loop? This is where they bring in what is basically Stoic philosophy, the circles of control.
Okay, break this down.
Imagine 2 circles. The first one, circle 1, is your power zone. This is what you actually control. Your effort, your words, your actions.
And circle 2 is the no power zone. Things like the weather, the economy.
And the big one, other people's opinions.
Ugh, that's the hardest one to accept. I feel like if I just worry enough about what my boss thinks, I can somehow control it.
It's a complete illusion. And Sophie is really blunt about this. She says worrying about her opinion doesn't change her opinion. It only destroys your peace.
It's out of my hands.
Exactly. That's the idiom. Once you identify something as being in circle 2, you have to learn to say it's out of my hands and put your energy back into circle 1.
There's another idiom they use that I loved. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
Which is such good advice.
Yeah.
Stop building bridges in your imagination over rivers you may never even get to.
I love that. But practically, my brain is a mess at 2 in the morning. How do I sort these worries? Sophie calls it the monkey mind.
The monkey just jumping from branch to branch.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just tell it to be quiet. It doesn't listen. You have to give the monkey a job to do.
And that job is the brain dump.
Right. You get a piece of paper and you write down every single worry. Just get it all out. Then, and this is the key part, you categorize. You look at each one. Is this circle 1?
If it is, you write an action step next to it.
And if it's circle 2?
You cross it out physically. A big line through it.
Sophie calls it firing the monkey from a job it's bad at. You're telling your brain, okay, I've processed this. You can let it go now. It's like clearing your mental cache.
That's so powerful. Okay, let's move to part 3. We stop the spiral. We're calm. But sometimes we just feel stuck. Not panic, just not moving.
Stuck in a rut.
They explain this so well. A rut is literally a deep groove in a road made by wheels over and over. It gets so deep you can't steer out of it.
And neurologically, that's what a habit is, a neural pathway, a highway in your brain. The more you think a certain way, the deeper that rut gets.
So how do you get out? I think the common fantasy is like the tropical island solution. If I just quit my job and moved to Bali, I'd be happy.
The geographic cure, which rarely works. Because as Sophie points out, you take your brain with you, you'll just be anxious in paradise.
So if a life explosion isn't the answer, what is?
A small pivot. And to explain this, they use the headlight metaphor, which for me was maybe the most profound idea in the whole series.
Walk us through it, because this one really clicked.
Okay, so imagine you're driving at night in thick fog. You can't see your destination. You can't even see the next turn. All you can see is the 2 meters of road right in front of you, lit up by your headlights.
Which feels terrifying if you focus on what you can't see.
It feels that way. But the truth is, you can drive the entire way home just by seeing those 2 meters. As you move forward, the next 2 meters are revealed.
So you don't need to see the whole map to start moving.
Exactly. We get stuck in ruts because we're trying to see success or happiness 10 years from now, and the fog is too thick, so we just freeze. We stop driving. The solution is to just focus on the 2 meters.
Just the next step. So for an English learner, it's not become fluent, it's learn 3 new words.
Yes. For us, it's not fix my life, it's drink 1 glass of water. That's your 2 meters.
That takes so much pressure off. I don't need the master plan. I just need to not crash in the next 10 seconds.
Right. But then the question is how we set those tiny goals. And this is where Sophie contrasts guilt goals with kind goals.
Guilt goals are poison. I should run a marathon because everyone on Instagram is. It's all based on shame.
And shame is a terrible long-term fuel. They reference Dr. Kristen Neff's work on self-compassion. A kind goal is basically asking yourself, how would I talk to a good friend?
You'd never say to a friend, hey, loser, run 20 miles or you're worthless.
I really hope not. You'd say, hey, let's just go for a 10-minute walk. It'll make you feel a little better. That's a kind goal. Realistic, clear, gentle.
And this all leads to the biggest myth buster of the whole series for me, the motivation myth. My whole life I've thought, step 1, get motivated. Step 2, do the thing.
And how much time do you spend on the couch just waiting for step 1 to happen?
I'm still waiting for the lightning bolt of motivation to clean out the garage.
The science shows we have the loop completely backward. It's actually action, then result, then motivation.
Wait, so the action causes the motivation, not the other way around.
Action is the match. You have to strike it to get the fire. You do one tiny thing, you're 2 meters, you clean 1 shelf. That gives you a small result, a little dopamine hit. That is the spark of motivation that makes you want to clean the next shelf.
So I don't have to feel like doing it, I just have to start doing it and the feeling will catch up.
You have to jumpstart the engine. If you wait until you feel like it, you will wait in that rut forever.
That is incredibly freeing. It just takes all the emotion out of it. Just do the task.
What if we try and we fail? What if we have a bad day and we slide right back into the rut? Sophie has one last analogy for this, the tennis ball.
I love this one.
Think about a tennis ball. What does it need to do in order to bounce?
It has to hit the ground.
Hard. The impact with the ground is what gives it the energy to rise again.
So resilience isn't about, like, never falling.
No. Resilience requires the fall. It's about using the hit, the bad day, the mistake. That's the ground. You use that impact to bounce back up.
That completely reframes what failure is. It's not the end. It's the mechanism for the bounce.
Exactly.
Wow. We have covered so much ground here. And looking back at my notes, we've picked up a whole new vocabulary for this stuff.
We really have. Let's try and put it all together. So it starts on Sunday. You feel the Sunday scaries.
But instead of ruminating, chewing on that bad grass, you use your 5-minute reset.
Maybe listen to some disco.
Yeah.
Then at night, when the spiraling starts and you feel like you're just keeping your head above water.
You pull out your circles of control. You realize your boss's opinion is out of your hands.
You decide you'll cross that bridge when you come to it. You do a brain dump to quiet the monkey mind.
And if you feel stuck in a rut, you forget the tropical island. You just turn on the headlights and look at the next 2 meters.
You set a kind goal, not a guilt goal, because you know that action creates motivation.
And finally, when you inevitably hit the ground, you don't break, you bounce back.
Just like a tennis ball. That is a full mental hygiene routine right there.
It really is. And the most important point they made is that positivity isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill. It's something you practice.
Like learning a language or playing an instrument. You can get better at it.
Which is a huge takeaway. So we want to leave you with a challenge, just like they did in the source material. We want you to use one of these tools today.
In the next 24 hours, set one single kind goal.
We mean a tiny one, not a guilt goal.
Something so small it's almost silly. Drink a glass of water. Read 1 page of a book. Take 3 deep breaths. Just turn on your headlights and drive 2 meters.
And just see if that tiny action strikes the match for your motivation.
Give it a try. The ball is in your court.
We hope this deep dive has given you some tools to fight off those lions in the living room. Thanks for listening.
Keep diving.